Hello guys, this will be a longer video with a demo project available for free on GitHub. And this is based on an email we received for our QuickAdminPanel inquiry from a potential customer with a question, can we help with this project? So it will be a project to upload files and folders based on users. So scenario, admin creates a user and a project, assigns the project to the users, and then those users log in and upload their folders and files. And yes, QuickAdminPanel can help with that, but in this video, the goal is not to show QuickAdminPanel. The goal is to show the QuickAdminPanel to generate the AdminPanel part, but then we go into user part to actually store and view the files. So during this video, we will create this AdminPanel to manage users' files and folders with QuickAdminPanel here, but also we will customize a lot of stuff, and then we will manually create the front-end part. So like this, so user would see their own project, go into project, upload files and view them as a screenshot or thumbnail. And it will be almost a live coding video. I will copy and paste some of the parts, like longer blade templates or something like that. But generally you will see the process step by step of creating this project, and you will learn a lot of things along the way about Eloquent, Laravel structure, Spotty Media Library to upload the files, how to work with Eloquent accessors, and a lot of stuff along the way. So if you have 30 minutes to spare, I guess it will be one of the best ways to practice your Laravel knowledge, because personally I'm a big fan of practical learning, not just reading the documentation, but creating actual project and learning along the way. So let's begin. So we begin our journey by creating a new project in QuickAdminPanel. Let's call it folders. And we just create it with default settings. Currently it will be Laravel 7 project. Currently we don't support Laravel 8 yet. It's coming in a week or two. And by default QuickAdminPanel comes with user management with 2 roles, admin and user, and this is exactly what we need. And we need to create 2 CRUDs, 2 menu items that would be manageable both from admin and later from user side. So it will be projects. So in menus CRUDs we create CRUD menu item, projects. QuickAdminPanel suggests the fields from my previous CRUDs. I don't need them. So we create fields project name, text field, name, required. And then every project, as in the description, may be assigned to a user or to multiple users. So we need belongs to many relationship, field belongs to many relationship, to users. And we just choose already existing model users, and we will show username in the list. Save. And we saved our first menu item projects. And while it is generating code, we can create another one called folders. And every folder will have a name as well. So name, required. Next, every folder will belong to some project. So we'll have to add belongs to relationship, so project. And system will automatically add project ID. So it will be folders project ID belongs to project's ID. So already existing CRUD projects, name, and that's it. So we have folder with a project. Then we need files in that folders, and for that we have field type called file, and we will name it files with checkbox. Important thing, multiple files, because we can't have multiple files in one folder, right? So save, we save CRUD, and then we need to add another thing. In existing CRUD folders, we need to add a relationship to itself, because folder may have another folder, subfolder with unlimited amount of levels. So we add a new field, belongs to relationship, and let's call it parent, the column, and let's choose the same CRUD. So we are doing relationship from folder to folder as it belongs to relationship. We save CRUD. And that's all we need from QuickAdminPanel. We download the code, and now our administrator will be able to manage folders and projects. So I click download full code and install the project locally according to these instructions. Okay, so I have installed the project locally. It's a typical Laravel install, so composer install, artisan migrate, artisan key generate, and stuff like that, and also some seeds available. And we have this locally, so we can log in as admin. Default credential is admin password, and then every admin can manage projects and assign projects to users. So for example, we will use fake filler and we can assign a user. In fact, there's only one user available. So let's start with user management. So let's add a user, fake filler with role user. So we have this user, According to the description of the task from client, users cannot register, so they can be only assigned. And this is what will happen. So admin will create a user, give them the password probably somehow, and then they will log in from their end. So admin creates a user, then creates a project, and assigns that user or multiple users to that project. Something like that. And then you can create folders inside of the project. So you can click folders, add folder, fake filler, choose the project, and then add files to download. So for example, this screenshot from one of my videos, we can choose parent folder, but we don't need it for now. So the folder is saved, and if we click view file, it is an image that you can view. So we're done with the first part, general admin panel. Now let's customize it with thumbnails for the folders and files and create the user part of the project. So here I am in my PhpStorm with downloaded code, and let's start with a simple change. On every new project there should be an empty folder created automatically, the first folder for that project. And in admin area we have a store method in projects controller, and after creating the project, let's do project folders, and it has already the relationship create with parameters folder name equals parent folder or parent directory, sometimes it's called like this. And actually we need to create that relationship manually, because folder, if you go to folder model, there is a belongs to the project, but project should have belongs to many, right? So public function folders return this has many folder class. And let's try it out. So we create a project as administrator, fake filler, we save, and let's see if we have a new folder. Yep, exactly parent directory. Now let's take care of this part of the requirement, assigning thumbnails to folders or the whole project. And we do have images for the folders or the project, and we need to choose one of the image to be the main thumbnail. And I've opened the folder PHP model, which has the files. And by the way, not all the files are images, but we will take care of that in a minute. We have appends files, and then at the bottom we have get media files. And files are not just has many relationship, it's a polymorphic relationship based on the package called Spotty Media Library that we use inside of QuickAdminPanel to generate file upload. And the actual file data in the database looks like this. It's a media table, media database table with polymorphic relations, as I mentioned. So we need to choose the thumbnail from the media table, and let's save it as folder thumbnail ID. So we generate a new migration, artisan make migration, add thumbnail ID to folders table. And we fill it in with table, unsigned integer, because in our case the media structure is int 10, so it's not a big integer. Unsigned integer, thumbnail ID, which may be nullable. And also we add it as a foreign key. From Laravel 7 you can do that in one line, but in this case I will use old syntax, which is foreign, thumbnail ID, references ID on table media. Okay, so we have a foreign key. Let's run the migrations. Successful. And now let the admin choose the thumbnail from those images in the folder edit page. So we open folders edit in the blade, and in this form at the bottom before the submit button, let's add a field. And I have that code already prepared, so I've pasted all of that. We choose the thumbnail from folder images. Now, what is images? If we open folder PHP again, let's filter all the files here to give us only images, only pictures. How to do that? In the media database table, there's a column called MIME type. So why don't we filter it by beginning from image? And we create a separate accessor, get images attribute, which then becomes folder images. And again, I've pasted the prepared code because otherwise I would shoot 3 hours of live coding video, so save you some time. And we just filter the files attribute, which is already an accessor. We filter that with collection method that it starts by image. And now if we open folder edit page, and we can choose the thumbnail from the list. So here it is, we have the file name here, Now let's save it. We need to go to folders controller in update method. Actually, according to this line, all we need to do is to add thumbnail ID as fillable in the folder. So here we have fillable array generated by QuickAdminPanel, and we add one more field here, thumbnail ID. We save, and then we can save that data. And if we go to folder edit again, we can see that thumbnail is chosen now. And also we may assign a thumbnail to the project, not only to the folder. So I've done that behind the scenes to save you time. It's almost the same as folder thumbnail. So migration of thumbnail ID to projects, then in Edit Blade, a drop down to choose the thumbnail, and then project images. This is a more interesting part. In the model project, what are the project images? We will gather that from the parent folder of that project, from the main folder, parent directory. So first we create a relationship. Every folder has only one parent directory, which is parent ID equals null. Then from that directory we get the files, and those become the files of the project, and then we get the images, filtering that from parent directory images. And then we can use project images in our Edit Blade. So it works like this. You can click edit on the project and choose the thumbnail for the whole project. And final thing around the thumbnails from AdminPanel, we need to change the media conversions. By default in QuickAdminPanel we choose 2 thumbnails for every file, for every image. So we choose 50 by 50 as a thumb and 120 to 120 as a preview. Instead of that, let's stick to 100 by 100 as only one thumbnail, and we don't really need a preview here. And we will use that in the front-end part, in the user part, which we will create now. Now let's generate a page for user to see their projects, the projects that they are assigned to. And we will use the same login mechanism as for AdminPanel, so they would see the same login form, but after login they would be redirected to their own front layout. And this is exactly what you see on the screen prepared. So I've created a new file, layouts front blade PHP, on top of existing admin and app which were for AdminPanel generated by QuickAdminPanel. We have front blade now, which is taken from official Laravel UI package. So I copy and paste that part as a layout with a few changes. So added drop zone to file upload, and we will use that in a minute. Also added the menu items. So for the guest there will be login form and no register. If it's not guest, then they would have a link to the dashboard and logout. And also left menu item will have projects index. And this is exactly what we will create now. If we go to our routes web, we have quite a lot of stuff here for AdminPanel, but what we need to add is route group for user. Route group with some parameters, we will add them later, and function route get projects project controller, and actually let's make it a resource to project controller. Let's generate that project controller. PHP artisan make controller project controller. Open that project controller. Now we have 2 project controller, projects controller in admin, and in a simple folder. Probably we can create some subfolder user, but I won't do that in this demo. We'll create public function index, return view, let's call it front projects index. And front, let's create a folder front. So I'm doing it step by step so you would understand the train of thought. New directory front, then another subfolder projects, and file index blade. It's empty, but it will extend layouts front. And as you can see, PhpStorm auto-completes a lot of stuff. And for now, only thing we add is a section for content. So yield content is in the front blade, and let's fill that content for now with just static word project. And let's open in the browser URL called projects, and this is our layout for the front-end page. And here will be our content of the page, and here we have menu item for the projects. Now let's make login form and correct redirect depending on the user role. So by default in QuickAdminPanel in routes web we have redirect to login. Let's change that, redirect to projects automatically, And then in the project, let's get middleware auth. But not only auth, we need to check that it's a simple user. So admin cannot access this one, the user area, and we will add another middleware called user. And let's generate that. Artisan make middleware user middleware. Actually, let's call it isUser. So isUser middleware. And if our user is administrator, we will redirect to the admin dashboard. So if auth user is admin, then return redirect route admin home, like this. And what is admin? We already have that by default in QuickAdminPanel, but this is an attribute isAdmin in user model. So we have that middleware, we need to register that in kernel PHP, HTTP kernel, route middleware, let's call it user, middleware is user middleware class. And now we can use that user in our routes web. So this in our route group, this will be accessible only for authenticated user and only for simple user. And then when I log in, I need to be redirected to projects here, right? So let's do exactly that. Login controller. We need to override this redirect to with a method. Public function redirect to. We check the same thing. So if auth user is admin, return route admin home, otherwise return route projects index. So this function overrides the property redirect to. And let's try it out. First, we refresh the page and we immediately get redirected to the admin area. Saw that? Now let's log in as a user, copy email, log out. And now if we open homepage, we are redirected to projects and then to log in, paste the email, route project index not defined, it's projects index actually. So now let's do that again. And we are redirected to projects. And actually we shouldn't see that dashboard at all. Let's change that to if statement. Actually no if statement, let's just remove that at all. Refresh, and we can log out here. And we can see the projects. For now it's a menu item, now let's add the table and managing the projects. So for that project page, we get all the projects assigned to user, project, where has, get, and where has is users with a function, query where ID equals auth ID. And let's pass that to the view. Compact projects. Let's open our projects index, the front one, and let's add a table here. Actually, it will be more than just a table. Let's close it up, and I've pasted the prepared blade. So my assigned projects, the section for the message, and then for each of the projects, we show the project name with a thumbnail. If there is a thumbnail, then we show that. Otherwise, we have no image. Now let's take care of the project thumbnail. How do we view the thumbnail? And we will add another attribute to the project's model. Again, I prepared that. If we have thumbnail ID, then we have first where from the media table, from Spotty Media Library. And if it is an image, we get the URL of thumb. If there's no thumbnail assigned, we just take the first image. And if we refresh our page, there we go. I have my assigned projects, one with already thumbnail of 100 by 100. Remember we changed that. And the other one is missing because it was uploaded before the change of thumbnails. So the only actions that users can take around the projects is only go inside the project. So we have projects show route for that. In index blade, there's the route projects show. And actually in routes web, let's restrict that. So route resource project would be only for method index and show. So users cannot edit projects or add projects or delete anything, just the index and the show. And inside of that show, public function show ID. And let's check if that project actually belongs to that user. So instead of doing route model binding, we will query the project again here, like this. So project where has the user, the same thing, find ID, and actually find or fail. So if I'm trying to go into someone else's project, I will get a 404. Now, what should we see inside the project? Remember, when creating the project, we are creating a parent directory by default. So let's show that parent directory by default as you would enter the folder inside of your Windows or Mac OS and show the contents of that folder. So actually, there will be no project show page, there will be folder show page. And we need to check inside of this if there is a parent directory, then we'll redirect to the folder show of that. So if not project parent directory, remember we have that. Parent directory is this one, the relationship. So if it doesn't exist, we redirect back. So that's kind of a validation. If there is a parent directory, then we return redirect to folders show. So route folders show, which doesn't exist yet, and we will create it in a minute, with a parameter project parent directory ID, like this. So we need to add that route folders show, and let's add another resource controller, duplicate that line, folders, folder controller, and methods will be a bit different, so we need all methods except index and except destroy. So user will be able to create folders, edit folders, and view them, but not see the list because the list is inside of the project and user cannot delete the folder. So let's generate the controller, make controller folder controller. Let's start with the show method. Public function show ID folder equals folder with project where has project users like this. So again, we're checking if that folder belongs to that user. Find or fail ID, and then we return view front folders show with compact folder. And we create that folders show view in resources views front folders show blade PHP. It will also extend layouts front, and in section content I will copy paste what I've prepared. And I've pasted the blade file. Let's close the sidebar. So we show the folder name. We will have two links to create a new folder or upload images to that folder, and we will create that as a next step. Then we'll list the children of that folder, so subfolders, and then we'll list the files of that folder, and then we have the links to back to the folder or back to full project list. For it to work, we need to define the routes. Folders create already exists in our routes, but folders upload doesn't. And if you want to add a route to the route resource, you need to add that before the route resource. So we do route get folders upload folder controller upload name folders upload, like this. Next thing we need to take care of is the children, folder children. How do we define that? So in folder model, we have the parent, but we don't have children. So public function children return this has many folder with parent ID. And finally, to show the thumbnail of each file, we need to change the relationship a bit. So in the folder model, instead of getFiles attribute, we will have this. I've pasted the code, so the same attribute getMediaFiles, but then we're doing map, so Eloquent collection method, and we assign the thumbnail. If it is an image, then we get the thumb. If it's not an image, then the thumbnail is null. And finally, we are ready to see the result of that show folder. So in the project list, we click on the project and we are redirected to folder, and we see the list of the files. And we can get back to the projects. So final two things that we need to do here is create a folder from user perspective and upload images from user perspective. And mostly it will be a copy-paste from AdminPanel just in user controllers. And I will show you those last page a bit quicker to save you time. And also I'm a bit tired personally actually. This is the 6th hour that I'm shooting this video with all the debugging and stuff. So I will cut the time just showing you the result. So to create the folder, we go inside some folder, create a new folder, and this is the form with a name for a new folder. And this comes from folder controller. We just do create, front folders create. Front folders create is a simple blade with just a form, post to folder store with a hidden parameter. This is important, request parent ID. So this URL is parent ID, so where do we store that folder? What is the parent? And in the folder controller store, we validate if the name is present, then we validate if that folder belongs to the user again, and then we create the folder and redirect back with status. So fill in with something, submit, and the folder has been created. And we're inside of that folder. And if we go to the projects, we go here, and in the parent directory, we see that folder already without a thumbnail yet because there are no images in that folder. So let's upload some images. And behind the scenes, I've added the pretty no image available. So that's for the project. And then for the folder, we have this image because there's no files inside. And if we go inside and try to upload the image, here is the form, a dropzone.js on the JavaScript side. So we can upload multiple files here. For example, a few screenshots from my YouTube. And this form is powered by a method, folder controller upload, which is just the form front folders upload. An upload blade is a simple form with one field for the files. And the whole magic of dropzone happens in the script section. This is a copy-paste from our QuickAdminPanel, pretty heavy JavaScript code. And this is the URL where the image is actually stored, even before the form submit. It is storing the image on the server, and then we have that URL as a hidden parameter. And then whenever we are ready to submit, to actually upload that, then we call post upload. So this is for store media. Actually, it's duplicated, so I don't need that one. And this is for the actual upload. So post upload. This is store media, by the way, uploading the file and validating and all of that. And we're storing that in a temporary folder. And the post upload itself is just getting the folder from hidden parameter folder ID from the request. And then for each of the files, we're just adding them to media, which is the part of Spotty Media Library package. And we redirect back. So let's do that now. Upload. And we have those two images inside of that folder with thumbnails, as you can see. And then if we go into projects, click here, there is a folder and two images. So as you can remember, folders show blade shows subfolders and then all the images. And if we go into a certain folder, we see only images of that folder. And of course, everything is protected by user, so every user sees their own images and their own folders. So that's it. I hope it was helpful. The project is on GitHub for free as usual, so you can check that out. And if you have any comments, how to make it better, or questions, what is unclear because I haven't explained everything detail to detail, then let's discuss in the comments. And if you want to generate the first part of the project like I did, check out our QuickAdminPanel.com. It will give you a quicker start for your projects. And see you guys in other videos.